All right, we're here on Overtime, and let's get the questions from the people who wrote in. What does the panel make of Michelle Duggar's statement while campaigning with Rick Santorum that overpopulation is a lie? Well, I don't know.
Come on, give it.
You're talking about, about denying science.
Right.
I mean,
well, you know what it is? I hear this from people all the time. They say, have you ever flown over the country and when you look down, there's a lot of nothing.
Empty space.
That's true, but that's not the issue. It's about resources. It's true, we could actually fit on the planet a lot more people, but there isn't enough food and water for them.
And farmland.
And especially now that China and India are eating meat and getting cars, we just can't do it. We would need like, to triple the population, we need like 5 more Earths. Again, this comes from scientists. It's not in the Bible. It's probably bullshit.
But you really wonder about her children.
What's that?
How can you give 19 children the attention that they need to grow up? I mean, it seems to me that her children...
That reality show, bankrolling all those 19 kids,
But even
healthy.
so,
it's a healthy way to grow up.
I just think she's exhausted from all the beatings. 19 kids, that's a lot of discipline.
How can you even have 19 kids? She's pregnant like every year. Like
That's twice a year.
Probably some kids...
Science. It's not quite biologically possible.
That's right.
I mentioned this Logan's Run thing
on
again?
the panel.
This is where 19 kids, and there's no one can stop anybody from having that many kids.
No, of course not, but it's just ridiculous. Okay. But... By the way, I don't know what made me think of this, but I was going to defend Mitt Romney for a second on the show, and we ran out of time. But he got caught this week. What the liberals were all about this gaffe that he made this joke about how his father had transferred jobs from Michigan to Wisconsin, and everybody said this showed him to be a bad. I don't understand why that's such a horrible gaffe. I mean. He didn't send the jobs to China.
Yeah, that's right.
He changed jobs. And that's what CEOs do. They figure out a way to make the most bang for their buck. They went from Michigan, but the people in Wisconsin benefited, I assume. The jobs went there. Why is that bad? We're not against, liberals aren't against anybody being fired ever, are we?
Well, it's just, I guess the thing is, it's at some point, isn't he going to be in Michigan? I mean, what's he going to say? It's like, oh, hi. I mean, like, my dad kind of like screwed you guys over, but vote for me anyway. It's just, he doesn't seem to
His father was a CEO. This is what CEOs do.
Most people...
And when they do it in America as opposed to India or China, I think that's something to be at least somewhat thankful for.
Fair enough.
Okay.
Fair enough.
I know. I mean, like I said, there's a liberal bubble too. They get mad at shit that I don't understand. Okay. Black Knight asks Rich or Elise, since 93% of the income growth has gone to the top 1% during the recovery, why is it wrong to tax them?
Well, I think we should ask you. You're the one that gave the $1 million.
But that's not a tax.
I know it's not even tax deductible.
And it's not even tax deductible.
I know. Did you know that?
It was just lying around, Rich.
Someone needed
it.
You put in the white rug, you had all this left over,
yeah.
and there you were.
I was more insulted about the people who said, I can't believe you had $1 million. I've been on TV 20 years.
Wait.
TV pays well. I couldn't save $1 million. It's not like...
Do you owe people money and then you went and gave away this
Yes,
big donation?
I'm driving a cab at night.
I hate lending people money and then seeing them go on vacation.
No, you know what it is? I don't have expensive hobbies. Most people in Hollywood, they either collect cars or paintings or they're on heroin, or hookers. Or, I don't have kids. I mean,
Well, I applaud your support of the First Amendment.
What's that?
I applaud your support of the First Amendment.
But what do you make of the question?
I have no problem with more taxes if I thought that government used the tax money efficiently.
But that's a silly argument because they never will. Government is... No,
well,
but I mean...
I think in the 50s and 60s, government actually did function more efficiently.
Really?
And before there was all the regulation and bureaucracy. We make things bigger, we throw money into things, and we hope for these great results, and it just doesn't...
Do you think there was less regulation in the 50s when they were building the interstates?
Golden Gate Bridge, they got that up in 3 years. How long did it take for them to do that road work in Boston? I mean, it's still ongoing. It's like
somebody once said
there was no one
the fact
going
is that
across the
rich
Golden
people,
Gate while they were doing it.
Rich people do pay more taxes. They pay at a higher rate. They pay more just based on how much it comes in, and about almost half. Almost half.
That's true. Yes.
Almost half of the working population pays no income tax. They have to pay when we have
No,
it.
but the
this-
question
I
is,
think-
what
I
should
think
they
the
pay?
problem- but I
It
think-
isn't what do they pay. The question is, what should they pay? And since they've gotten all these great advantages from this country, including making a lot of money, don't they owe the country more?
Pay America back.
I think let's even forget
But
about
they do
tax.
pay the freight.
Addressing
You're right. They do pay.
inequality.
The majority of what goes into the coffers is from a small percentage of people, and about half the people do not pay federal income tax.
At
They
all.
pay other kinds of
Yeah,
taxes.
they pay the payroll tax and
Right.
so
Sales tax.
But addressing inequality is such a blind spot on both the right and the left. The left, money can fix everything. Let's put more money into government. And then on the right, not understanding that yes, inequality is at its worst level since early 1900s in America.
But,
Back when rich people used to take their money and voluntarily build public works, like
Which was
colleges.
great.
Yeah, they don't do it
Libraries.
now. They put it. Where is Mitt Romney's money?
but somebody.
I don't know. Mitt Romney
and
has
his
actually
white-
done.
Island.
and his white carpet.
But Mitt Romney has, in all fairness, donated a lot of money to charity.
No, that's
Unlike
His
Wow.
campaign doesn't
That's
count.
no,
He
not
has
charity.
donated.
His church,
But
which is
at least
not
he donates-
charity.
But he is
That's
a
his
generous.
cult.
He is a generous.
That's a big difference.
He's a generous, wealthy person. In contrast, Santorum hasn't donated anything, and he's the one throwing out his.
You know
religion
why?
all the
Because
time.
he said the reason he didn't is because he has a special needs child, and he does not, and the government doesn't pay for all that. It's the greatest advertisement yet for universal health care. But, somebody once said, you cannot transfer money except with a leaky bucket. I mean, government we have to kind of accept that. The government will never be totally efficient. That you can't, there's no way to do it. And that's really not we've tried this experiment for 30 years.
The government was very efficient during the New Deal.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of construction. There was the TVA. There was the Interstate Project, and God knows, I
And
know
it took a
everybody
world war
hates
to get us out of
Roosevelt.
debt.
But here's,
Yeah.
We spent our way out of that debt.
Elise makes a very good point about the 60s and 50s.
We have the war and the debt now.
We used to invest in young people. We said we're going to educate a generation of Americans so they can go out and outcompete the world. Now we say, it's you, it's your career, good luck. We tripled the tuition on these young people. That's not just bad for the kids. That's bad for the country. No country in the world is refusing to invest in educating its kids. China's doing it. India's doing it. Brazil's doing it. They're making it easier for their kids to get educated. So the richest people ever born don't have to pay a penny more in taxes. We're abandoning a whole generation of Americans.
Can I just
That's
say
bad for the
something
country.
about education?
Bad for the country.
It's a constant association that education has to do with earning power. There is another purpose for education, which is to improve the quality of life and to improve the experience of life. And the idea that you're going to throw money into this thing so somebody can make a living or a higher wage or whatever it is, they're going to debt to be educated to have an experience of life that is not meaningless.
I didn't. When I was in college, I had no idea of taking courses to get a job. I was an English major. I wound up using English in my career.
You're almost fluent.
But yeah, we got to go. Thank you very much, folks. You were terrific, and you were terrific.
Real Time with Bill Maher. Ask Bill and his guests your questions right after the show at HBO.com.